register and feature. Visit Ebonade 103.5 FM inside the European Residency Hotel, Ugidi, opposite Omunike Boys, or you call 080-391-67049. Don't miss out.
Papa, mama, show everybody. Brother, sister, in the body wave. 103.5, everybody. Everybody, can't show everybody. What you see me there? I show everybody. I show everybody. It's your boy, Some T. You are listening to 103.5 FM, Ebonade. One that you're looking at, Kailu Ebonade, man.
Ebonade FM 103.5 Ogidi. Igwana wakuna baso gabaganya. Enyanyi, yanyi na toka inumanati anyi makaragi na ginti bobo. Ineme madobi uto. Uko ibo na kwa entertainment. Umena leki na palele. Uko ibo na kwa culture. Iyeje mafuma. N'ime obi ụtọ bịa eji mara gị Ebonade FM 103.5 Ogidi asị m na ọdịrọ ịkwa achọ na azụla onwe onye redio eji mmanụ itu na redio gegide 103.5 Ogidi Ebonade FM ka inume ị chọrọ obodo ga-adịkwa oyi na igegide anyị pawa
n'afọ nna na nwa na mmụọ nsọ Angelus
Mama Nkosegru Agwaptal Maria.
Owetri mesenike nke mmụọ nsọ.
Ekene Maria Ijiptel na Grace Osegru Anonyeli. Ịdị ngọzi n'etiti ikporo niile. Ọ dịazị ngọzi bụ nwafọ gị Jesu.
Maria dị asọ nne nke Chukwu. Rebara ebe ndị nje arịrịọ. Kịta na mmanụ ọnwa anyị. Amen.
Nyeju odibo nwanyị Nkosegru ụwa.
Korere bụ ka isi kwu.
Ekene Maria Ijiptel na Grace Osegru Anonyeli. Ịdị ngọzi n'etiti ikporo niile. Ọ dịazị ngọzi bụ nwafọ gị Jesu.
Maria dị asọ nne nke Chukwu. Rebara ebe ndị nje arịrịọ. Kịta na mmanụ ọnwa anyị. Amen.
Okwu emela arụ.
O wee binyere anyị.
Ekene Maria Ijiptel na Grace Osegru Anonyeli. Ịdị ngọzi n'etiti ikporo niile. Ọ dịazị ngọzi bụ nwafọ gị Jesu.
Maria dị asọ nne nke Chukwu. Rịọbara ịbụ ndị nje arịrịọ. Kịta na mmanụ ọnwa anyị. Amen.
Rịọbara anyị arịrịọ ọnne nke Chukwu dị asọ.
Ka o wee metụ n'aka nkwa nke Kristi.
Arịrịọ anyị na-arịọ gị o Chukwu ka erinye Grace anyị n'ime obi anyị ka anyị bụ ndị nje butere ozi ọma wee mara iwere arụ Kristi nwa gị site n'afọ ya na obe ya wee bata n'otito na mbilite n'ọnwụ ya site na Kristi dị mere anyị.
Amen.
Otito dịrị Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ.
Etu ọ dị n'isi na kịta na ebo niile n'ụwa ebe ebe. Amen.
Otito dịrị Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ.
Etu ọ dị n'isi na kịta na ebo niile n'ụwa ebe ebe. Amen.
Otito dịrị Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ.
Etu ọ dị n'isi na kịta na ebo niile n'ụwa ebe ebe. Amen.
Ka mkpụrụ obi ndị niile kwere gara aga
site n'ekpere nke Chukwu ka ha zuru ike na ndokwa.
Ka mkpụrụ obi fa zuru ike na ndokwa.
Amen.
onye nwe anyị nọnyere ụnụ
Nọnyekwara mmụọ gị.
ka Chineke ji ike niile gọzie ụnụ Nna na Nwa na Mmụọ Nsọ.
Amen.
Ekpere a bịara gị site na nkwado ndị Love Bite Foods and Beverages Limited Nnobi. Ndị na-alụpụta Love Bite Bread nọ na nọmba 1
Mosu Madoka Close, Umuru Nogi, 081 49 82 8254.
Listen to news updates on Ebonade 103.5 FM immediately after Angeles, 6 o'clock a.m. and 6 o'clock p.m. weekdays. Stay tuned to be updated, to be informed. News updates, live reports. Ebonade FM breaks the news with actualities.
I believe that people are hoping for a new Nigeria.
You can as well listen online via mixlr.com/GistFM.
Good evening and welcome to Ebona, the 103.5 FM News Update. Today, Thursday, the 8th day of June 2023, and the time is 4 minutes past the hour of 6. Martin Ifan Shuku Ekeze is my name. The headlines. Rights groups accuse naval officers of extortion, intimidation in Anambra, Abia to rehabilitate baby factory victims. Parents of 4-year-old girl sacked in Imo demand justice. You cannot end sit-at-home menace by mere decree. Tinubu Abga candidate Frank Nweke tells Governor Mba. Ex-Abia local government boss Otis aid in war of wars over workers' April salary. Dollar steady as traders consider fair global rates outlook. Now, details. Rights groups accuse naval officers of extortion, intimidation in Anambra. A coalition of civil society groups has accused naval officers operating along Onitsha Atane Road in Obaru, local government area, Anambra State, of allegedly extorting and harassing innocent people, lamenting that they have become a security threat in the area. The executive director of Human Rights, Liberty, Access and Peace Defenders Foundation, HURIDE, Mr. Dede Uzo, made the accusation while addressing a cross-section of victims and family members who claim that they were molested at the various checkpoints in the area. According to Uzo, many residents of the area have been declared missing since the ugly incident reared its head. Uzo said the naval ratings are supposed to be in the sea, but we are surprised to see the mountain roadblocks along the Atane Road and Onitsha environs. They now use the roadblocks to carry out extortion and harassment of innocent victims. It is quite disheartening that the people are being tormented by those who are supposed to protect them. Few days ago, a young man was saved by divine intervention as he would have been killed and labeled a member of the indigenous people of Biafra or a Yahoo Yahoo by these naval ratings. He was stopped as he was going to supply goods to his customers, and when they checked his phone and saw a huge amount of money in his account, they accused him of being an IPOB member and a Yahoo Yahoo, and thereafter ordered him to come down from the vehicle. He was blindfolded and they were taking him to an unknown location before he raised the alarm. What is the aim of blindfolding the young man when he is not a suspect? There was no allegation against him and he is not being investigated of any crime. Those people who were on duty on that particular day should be fished out and prosecuted. We are also calling on President Bola Tinubu to embark on aggressive overhauling of security apparatus, especially the Navy, and by extension, the Eastern Naval Command at Iyowa Debe. Also, issued a 14-day ultimatum to naval authorities to investigate the activities of the men on the roads, warning that civil society groups would embark on aggressive protests if nothing is done. One of the victims, an Onitsha-based businessman who identified himself as Francis Tochukwu, claimed that he was tortured and ordered to sit on the ground for several hours as they accused him of being an IPOB member and Yahoo Yahoo. The commander of Iyowa Naval Base, Navy Captain Osube, could not be reached for reaction as his phone rang out. Abia to rehabilitate baby factory victims. The wife of Abia State Governor, Mrs. Priscilla Oti, has said appropriate action is being undertaken to rehabilitate the inmates rescued from a baby factory located at Umupei Mbosi in the Isialangwa South local government area of the state. Mrs. Oti gave the assurance when she paid a scheduled visit to the rescued young girls at Madonna College of Health Technology, Olokoro, Umuahia, where they are being taken care of. The wife of the governor, who expressed sadness over the incident, described the development as heartbreaking, adding, however, that government was providing care temporarily for the baby factory victims. She regretted that such unfortunate act was being carried out in Abia State and gave the assurance that government would partner charity homes, churches, and other stakeholders to provide necessary assistance to care for young girls and children in the state who are being taken advantage of. Speaking earlier, while receiving the wife of the governor to the college, the provost, Madonna College of Health Technology, Orokoro, Reverend Father Christian Anopuru, narrated that the girls were brought to the facility following their rescue by the state government a few days ago. He disclosed that the girls, numbering about 20, were pregnant and had undergone necessary medical tests to determine their health status. 2 suspects were arrested in connection to the criminal activity. Parents of 4-year-old girl stabbed to death in Imo demand justice. Parents of a 4-year-old baby, Claire Opara, have called for justice over the stabbing to death of their daughter by one Vivian Benson at Nwosu Estate Works layout in Owerri, Imo State on May 27, 2023. The parents, while speaking to newsmen in Owerri on the incident, said they are still in shock at how their daughter was stabbed to death by a stranger. The suspect, Vivian, was said to have entered the compound and pretended to be playing with the baby and suddenly brought out a knife and stabbed the baby 4 times. After the attack, Vivian was arrested by the resident and was heard saying that she should be taken to the police station, claiming that she is from the Marine Spirit. However, the mother of the victim, Judith Opara, while narrating her story, recalled that she rushed out when she heard her other children screaming. She said, I was shouting for help and somebody who sells something along the streets came and helped me, and my daughter was rushed to hospital. Also, the father said, when I entered the theater where my daughter was lying, I could not behold what I saw, and I rushed out from the place and was praying to God that she would make it, but unfortunately she did not. An innocent child of 4 years had her life snuffed out. What I want is justice. Contacted the state police public relation officer Henry Okoye, said we are currently investigating the matter and the suspect will face the law. You cannot end sit-at-home menace by mere decree, Enugu APGA candidate Frank Nweke tells Governor Mba. The All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA governorship candidate in the Enugu state, Frank Nweke Jr., has faulted Governor Peter Mba's approach to end Monday sit-at-home order in the state. Reporters had reported how Governor Mba threatened to close schools, markets, and transport units that failed to open for business and academic activities on Monday henceforth. Reporters also reported that the people of the state defied the governor's order as they observed the sit-at-home order, though Mba moved around some parts of the state with his entourage to monitor compliance. Reacting to the governor's compulsory immediate compliance with his order to end the sit-at-home menace, Nweke said that Governor Mba could not decree out the existence of the sit-at-home menace in the state. Nweke said that the situation hurts all concerned and is economically, socially, and politically destructive to the Southeast. Leadership and fellowship is, however, a shared responsibility, and the government must understand that the sit-at-home menace cannot be decreed out of existence. According to him, a broad-based stakeholder engagement alongside visible improvements in the governance and quality of life is critical to end the trust of the people and ultimately elicit voluntary compliance. The same is required as regards the ongoing dismantling of security barricades in neighborhoods in Enugu. These were self-help initiatives of ordinary citizens in the face of rising insecurity. The security situation has not changed. Reasonably, people will support the removal of these barricades when the situation of insecurity which necessitated them is ameliorated, if not eliminated. Partnership between citizens and government is critical in achieving the improvements we all desire in the security sector. Executive orders may be well-intentioned. However, attention must be paid to ensure that their implementation is not hampered by a lack of communication and engagement, unsolved dependencies, and misalignment in timing. Ex OTs aid in war of word over workers' April salary. Former Deputy Chairman of Ben, the local government area, Promise Uzoma Okoro, and the Special Advisor to Governor Alex Oti on Media and Publicity, Ferdinand Ekoma, have engaged each other in a war of words over unpaid worker salaries for April 2023, Okoro was alleged to have circulated a report where he alleged that Governor Alex Oti vowed not to pay the April salaries of civil servants in the state, left behind by former Governor Okezie Ibazo. But in a quick reaction, the special advisor to Governor Alex Oti on media and publicity, Ferdinand Ekoma, described the report as fake, half-baked, and fabrications dished out to draw social media traffic. Ekoma, who made it clear that Governor Oti never made such a statement, challenged the PDP chieftain to produce evidence of where and when the new governor made the said statement. Ekoma, who advised the public to disregard the report credited to the former Bende local government deputy chairman. He said Okoro probably anchored his assumption on the plans of the governor to pay May salary first before tackling the accumulated salary arrears left behind by the past administration in the state. Ekoma's statement read in part, I read with dismay, the fake report being widely circulated by one Promise Uzoma Okoro, wherein he alleged that the governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Okti, has vowed never to pay the April salary arrears left behind by the former government of Dr. Okezie Ibazo. They said Mr. Okoro could not state where and when the governor made the statement. He probably anchored his assumption on the plans of the governor to pay May salary first, which, of course, is his man's immediate priority before tackling the homogeneous accumulated salary arrears left behind, which include the April salary Okoro mentioned. The governor understands the place and importance of payment of salary as an enabler of economic growth and development, and is therefore marshalling out the right strategy geared towards clearing the Abia salary mess. Ekoma continued, it is curious that the poster, who had earlier claimed that Governor Ibazo wasn't owing April salary, is now talking about non-payment of the same April salary. We also had left office. Now we move over to the foreign scene. Dollar steady as traders consider federal global rates outlook. The dollar was on the back foot on Thursday, though it drew some support from higher U.S. Treasury yields as traders contemplated the possibility of another rate hike by the U.S. Federal Reserve, even if it pauses next week. The increased expectation that U.S. and global interest rates may have further to rise has come on the back of surprise rate increases by the Bank of Canada, BOC, and the Reserve Bank of Australia, RBA, this week. The BOC on Wednesday hiked its overnight rate to a 22-year high of 4.75% after a 4-month pause, while the RBA on Tuesday similarly raised interest rates by a quarter point to an 11-year high and warned of more to come. The Canadian dollar was last steady at 1.3365 Canadian dollar to the greenback after rising to a 1-month top of 1.3321 dollar in the previous session. Canada's central bank is viewed as one of the leaders when it comes to being proactive with monetary policy, said Edward Moyer, senior market analyst at OANDA. The BOC is signaling that more rate hikes could come, and that has everyone rethinking that the federal will be done after the July hike. Elsewhere, the US dollar edged broadly lower in the early Asia trade, with sterling rising 0.08% to $1,2449, while the euro similarly gained 0.08% to $1.0707. European Central Bank policymakers had on Wednesday struck a hawkish tone and guided that more rates hike are on the horizon, with interest rates likely to stay higher for longer. To draw the curtain on news update on Ebona and the 103.5 FM, but before we leave, a quick look at the headlines. Rights groups accuse naval officers of extortion, intimidation in Anambra. Abia to rehabilitate baby factory victims. Parents of 4-year-old girls stabbed to death in Imo demand justice. You cannot end sit-at-home menace by a mere decree. Enugu Abga candidate Frank Nweke tells Governor Mba. Ex-Abia Leku government boss Otis aid in war of wars over workers' April salary. Dollar steady as traders consider Fed global rates outlook. You just listened to news updates on Ebona, the 103.5 FM news, produced and read by Martin Ifeanyi Ekezie. Thank you for listening. Good evening. Thank you. Like, subscribe, right?
News updates on Ebon 103.